Hello everyone, this is Cpounds. In today's topic of discussion, we will be discussing the origins of Uncle Tom. Now, what brought me to this subject is a couple of weeks back I watched a documentary on YouTube called The Real Uncle Tom, which tells the true story of a slave by the name of Josiah Henson, born from 1789 to 1883 in Kentucky, who dealt with the cruelty of his masters, his slave masters, who really whipped him hard enough where he could barely walk. It was later at some point that he had a brother. The slave master had a brother, and they were both in the injunction of trying to selling him off. And to avoid this fate, Josiah took the desperate measure of escaping, and not just escaping by himself, but escaping with several with other slaves. And he successfully escaped from Kentucky all the way to Canada, where he started off a new beginning, start a new community, start his own community, and help empower his own people with education as well as education from the Bible. He often would travel in the free states to conventions and exhibitions, giving speeches of his life story. He also continued to help free slaves. He continued going down into the deep south and helping free slaves. In a way, he was kind of a male version of Harriet Tubman. At the same time, he's kind of also a figure like Frederick Douglass as well. He also even traveled overseas to exhibitions and conventions over in England, as well as he even met the Queen. Josiah Henson's story also became the inspiration for Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. Though Josiah Henson disputed this claim that he was the inspiration thought of himself as the inspiration of Uncle Tom's Cabin, but Harriet Beecher Stowe bases her story off of many other slaves, but Josiah Henson became the model for the Uncle Tom character in the novel. And Harriet Beecher Stowe's original novel, Uncle Tom was a good character. He was a protagonist character where he looked after you for helping escape helping his own people escape and reverse his own life, trying to help escape. Now, over time, the stereotype of in today's most of today's society and culture in the African American community, often Uncle Tom has often been associated with a negative stereotype. Stereotype often, and it has its roots going back to the 1930s, that Uncle Tom is often a person that often stereotyped as being a sellout to his own race, betraying his race, framing the white people, pleasing the white people for himself, and not for empowering his own people, so to speak. He was often a person that was against the ideas of black progress, against ideas of black radicalism, any form of black radicalism, or any form, I guess, black thought. Often the stereotype sometimes gets lumped together with Coon or Sambo, which Coon is the opposite of that, where Coon is a stereotype that often portrays black people as being uppity, a stereotype of a uppity rich black person, which that's how many Southerners at the time, white Southerners, thought free blacks in the North as being uppity and arrogant. And this is often the great historians and civil rights activists Dick Gregory and Claude Anderson both frequently mentioned that Uncle Tom is often associated with Coon and not Coon or Sambo, which I thought Sambo was a little African boy, which I thought that was a novel called a book called Little Black Sambo. But how did the transition of Uncle Tom's character become a negative stereotype was over time from the adaptations of the book to Broadway to I should say many plays and musicals, which often altered the story of Uncle Tom's Cabin with minstrel performances. It also changed the plots around, such as in the book is set during slavery, but by the time the Civil War ended, when many of these plays were being in production, it was after the Civil Wars, so the slave thing was taken out, and again it was altered into it often featured Coon blackface minstrel performances, often where white performers would darken their faces, and this is a tradition that goes back well into the height of slavery, going back to the 1840s and 50s. And actually, that's where the term Jim Crow comes about. It's from a minstrel performer, and because of that, whereas the negative, many school books had taken out the had banned the book Uncle Tom's Cabin because of its minstrel association. And as far as I remember, going back when I was in grade going back to when I was in grade school and high school, I seldom ever remember us ever being read Uncle Tom's Cabin. I don't remember being taught in history class, but never we read the book. In history class, it was one of the key events that we was taught, as I remember, as being taught as the key events that led to the start of the Civil War, along with Harper's Ferry. He's even mentioned the documentary. I remember this being taught in school, that Harry Beecher Stowe met with Abraham Lincoln at the White House, and Abraham Lincoln responds by saying, "So you're the lady who got us into this whole war," which is pretty much true, because the book was so sensationalized that it was met with a lot of controversy, that it led to the start of the Civil War. Yeah, and today other references to in this day and age it's even today in the cancel culture world, that certain things and products associated, I guess, with the Uncle Tom stereotype is has been banned or been removed, such as the products such as Uncle Ben's rice, which has been removed in association with the name Uncle Tom, and which betrays a elderly black man. Then you also have the cream of wheat man. Also, picture was also taken down. I guess again associating with these stereotypes, or which are more with the Porter stereotype, which are mostly coon stereotypes, and the same with Aunt Jemima, though that some of the Aunt Jemima, with it being a female stereotype of the mammy slave surrogate slave mammy character. Now, for further perpetuating in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind, starring Hattie McDaniel, and so on this, I guess, negative association. Even though the picture was modernized, the I guess there's still the negative association with the Aunt Jemima character picture. But again, as I said, back to Uncle Tom, it's not a bad antagonistic character as we've been programmed to think. And this is another video by Cpounds. Feel free to comment on this subject. Stay tuned for my next video.